And we don't get bears. We don't have like, like wild cats, mountain. We don't have any of that shit. Sometimes coyotes, but they're loud as hell and they move in packs and they don't come this close to the house. There's something in the fucking barn. And that's fine.
Hello everyone, my name is Lisa and here's what I have today. I'm going to be trying some local to me hot sauces. So I have 3 local hot sauces, starting with mild boss sauce, and then a medium original Anchor Bar buffalo wing sauce. And I have had both of these before many times. And the hot sauce, I have not tried this before, ever. This is called Dinosaur Barbecue Hella-licious Devil's Duel Habanero Hot Pepper Sauce. So, it's the label. So that is my hot sauce on the scale here. Mild boss sauce, medium Anchor Bar buffalo wing sauce, and then hot Dinosaur Barbecue habanero sauce. To go along with the hot sauces, I have some chicken nuggets. Okay, chicken nuggets. And then I also have some emergency ranch in case this is really, really hot. So, LOL, emergency ranch. And as a side, I have some hot fries. Andy Cap's hot fries. And then for the recovery and for science portion, I have some also local Upstate Farms Intense Vanilla Latte Milk. Okay, let me know in the comments below. Do you have this line of milk in your grocery store? And then lastly, for recovery purposes, I have a Cosmic Brownie, okay? So go get a spicy snack and let's get into the spooky videos. And to go with the theme, we are doing haunted upstate New York stories. Okay, first one. The most haunted house in upstate New York.
Love is a walk in the park. That's how I feel at the start. Pretty until it gets dark.
Alright, next.
Creepers, creepers, where'd you get those creepers? Creepers, creepers, where'd you get those eyes?
Haunted. I believe this is a haunted psych ward. Okay.
Is that open?
Okay, next.
I saw a terrifying figure on a camping trip in upstate NY. It was our last night. We had rented an off-grid cabin in a remote area in the woods in upstate NY. To give some locals an idea, we were like half an hour drive from Harrisburg, I think. Me and Lisa had decided to spend one night in this cabin because it was one with nature. The cabin was super old, made from logwood, and there was no running water or electricity. Both me and Lisa had experience with survival in the wild in Europe. I for myself had been a Boy Scout my whole life and even was a scout leader for a while. Our other 2 friends were, as much as I love them, purebred city girls. They had pretty much zero experience with camping or to just be in a place where there is no service for the phones, as was the case in this cabin. We had been driving all day to get there, and when we reached the beginning of the forest, it was already past 10 p.m. and it was really dark that night. While driving to this place, we lost internet connection with the GPS, and so I had to drive to the cabin on intuition paired with a good old-fashioned map, hoping for the best while trying to drive safe on these muddy trails. It was also raining the whole day. On the way there, Anna and Charlotte were in the back of the car, and the moment they lost phone service, they got pretty uneasy for the rest of the ride. All of a sudden, in the pitch-black darkness of the forest, we all saw a campfire. But there were no houses around or people, just a campfire. A well-organized one, since the fire was not spreading and it was not as big as a bonfire. It kind of startled all of us, as this was a little bit weird, since there was no one around and we were really deep in the forest already. Plus it was getting very late. When this happened, we also reached the end of the trail and we figured we had taken the wrong trail at a crossroads before, so I turned around and we were on our way again. Half an hour later and a couple of wrong trails later, we finally had arrived at our destination, as we could finally see the first glimpse of this god-forsaken cabin in the middle of nowhere. To give you an idea how old it was, the potty was made out of wood and was outside the cabin. When we arrived, it was still raining, and both Anna and Lisa were definitely not in the mood for getting out of the car and get in a cabin with zero lights. So me and Lisa left the lights of the car on and went inside the cabin, while also using our phone flashlights to check the cabin out and see if we could find any old flashlights, which we did, and to see if we could turn on the fireplace, which we didn't because all the wood was still wet from the rain, and it seemed no one had prepared dry wood anywhere. So with a couple of old flashlights and a small improvised fire I managed to make in the stove, we all forgot in the cabin and I started to make some pasta for us. Meanwhile, the girls were preparing the beds and closing the windows since it was already cold in this part of the state. The cabin had a small ladder which led to an elevated room space with a bed where all three of the girls could fit in. And I would sleep downstairs in a bunk bed that seemed older than the First World War. While making pasta, Anna, one of the city girls, came up to me and, knowing that both Lisa and Charlotte did not like to hear anything scary at night, told me that she had seen an old cemetery in the middle of the forest on the way to our cabin and that she had seen a figure walking around in there. I first laughed it off as nothing, being from Spain. We take promises very serious, and she swore that she was not lying. I told her then that I believed her, but that there was no need to panic as I would lock all the doors. We had some pasta, managed to make a couple s'mores, and drank a couple beers, or at least I did. They all had just one. They all three went to sleep pretty early after finishing the s'mores and their beer, and I, considering that I really love the outdoors and that I don't really mind a little bit of rain, decided to take my last beer and a flashlight outside to the front porch, also very old and made of wood, and sat myself down with my beer while enjoying the sound of rain and the lovely sight of not seeing a single light in the distance. I could greatly appreciate this coming from NYC, and I just scanned the area around with my flashlight. There was nothing much really to see. Besides a lot of trees and a small creek a little further away, all I could hear was the wind, the rain, and the running water down in the creek. That was until I suddenly heard what I would describe as a strange roar. The first thing that came to my mind was a bear, but I had researched well before our trip, and I knew bears were not common at all in this part of the state. I also know what a bear roar would sound like, and it did not resemble that, except from the fact that it was a deep sound through it, startled, but not really scared. I continued to scan the rest of the forest for as far as I could see from the porch. It was then when my eye caught the glimpse of a figure well hidden deep into the tree line. I would describe the figure as tall as a reference. I am 6'4", and I thought this thing was at least a foot or two higher than me. It was well hidden because of its brown fur, that is what I think it was at least, or the skin in any case blended in well with the trees in autumn. It was definitely aware of our presence, as I saw two eyes glimpsing into my flashlight. I could not tell you what it was, but I swear to God that this was no bear. It was bipedal and had rather long arms, I would say. We looked at each other for what seemed an eternity, but in reality, it was more like 5 seconds before it vanished behind a tree and I heard another roar. It was then that I felt all of my hair stand up and I was terrified. I went inside as quickly as I could and locked all doors and closed all curtains. I quickly went to bed and tried to wave it off as just my exhaustion of driving all day, playing tricks on my mind, but I promise you this was very real. After an hour or so I had calmed down and finally fell asleep. The rest of the night was uneventful. The next morning there was no sight of any animals or anything abnormal. I never talked about what I saw that night, because I know all 3 girls did not like to hear scary stories. If anyone has an idea of what it could have been, feel free to enlighten me.
Okay, next story. Come explore this haunted hospital in upstate New York.
The truth about this abandoned Victorian mansion. Built in 1900 by George F. Barber, this mansion was once a masterpiece of elegance. Barber was a Victorian-era architect who designed over 50 homes listed on the National Historic Register. His designs weren't just homes. They were works of art known for their intricate details and grand facades. But this 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom mansion has seen better days. Once a stunning bed and breakfast hosting dreamy weddings in the Catskills, it now stands abandoned. Its last known use was in 2013, and since then, it's been slowly consumed by time and neglect. From the outside, you can smell the mold, thick, damp, and suffocating. The air feels heavy, as if the walls themselves are mourning the past. Barber's legacy stretches far beyond this home. Known for his catalog homes like his book The Cottage Souvenir, he gave families across America a chance to own a piece of architectural splendor. Most of his works are found in Tennessee, but here in Fleischmann's New York, his vision has faded into eerie despair. Today, this mansion is valued at around $217,000.
Whoa.
But don't be fooled. Bringing it back to life would cost millions. According to public records, it was sold for $25,000 in February 2022. But it was resold again on March 20th, 2023 for $80,000. Its future is as uncertain as its
hot,
present,
but it's good.
with no clear owner or plan to restore it.
Wow. Milk. Okay. This is really hot. It's really good, but it's really hot.
Ten most historic haunts of the Catskill Mountains. The Catskills in upstate New York are known for their beauty and rich history, but they're also home to the most haunted spots on the East Coast. 10. King Howe's Mansion. 9. Dundas Castle. 8. Catskills Crone. 7. Spook Rock Road. 6. The Shanley Hotel. 5. Old Dutch Church Cemetery. 4. Blythewood Mansion. 3. Burnbrae Mansion. 2. Salisbury Manor. 1. Overlook Mountain House. Like and follow for more.
We definitely have a lot of old haunted houses and haunted hospitals and old psych wards and haunted graveyards.
That's why I went over that way too, because I was seeing lights. That's why I went over and checked over there, because I saw lights. Over that way too, because I was seeing lights.
Did you know that one of the most haunted homes in New York State can be found just an hour outside of Buffalo? Welcome to the infamous Hinsdale House in Hinsdale, New York. Constructed in 1853, the home on McMahon Road has a murky history with all the legends it's gathered over the years. However, it wasn't until the 1970s that this home began to make local headlines after the Dandy family began experiencing some wild paranormal activity after moving in. Books flying off the shelf, family members being scratched, seeing apparitions of figures on the front lawn, and even having knives thrown at family pictures by an unseen force were just a few of the claims that the Dandy family experienced. As the months went on, the paranormal activity began to get out of control, leaving the family to seek help from a priest at the nearby St. Bonaventure University. In hopes of helping the family, he performed an exorcism on the home, but unfortunately it didn't work and only made whatever resided there more angry. The Dandy family wouldn't stay in the home much longer before fleeing to the other side of the country and leaving the home to sit abandoned. In 2015, the Hinsdale house was saved from demolition and purchased by its current owner, who turned the home into a paranormal research center. Today, you can rent out this infamous home to see for yourself if the claimed paranormal activity is real. Those who do have reported seeing full-body apparitions, hearing doors slam, seeing photos fall off walls, hearing voices, and so much more. And if you're lucky, you may even catch a glimpse of a cryptid or two. Do you think you would last a night inside this infamous haunted house?
Okay, so I'm putting a filter on because I look and feel like shit. But I moved to upstate New York from Phoenix, Arizona. And, you know, Phoenix is absolutely massive. Like, the city of Phoenix is big, but then it's, like, surrounded in a ring of, like, creepy suburbs. So, and we moved to upstate. We're about 40 miles, no, that's not true, 30 miles outside of Syracuse. Kind of, like, on the outskirts of a small town. And my house is on, like, 13 acres. I have a neighbor, like, 2 acres away. But then the rest of it, we're just in the middle of fucking cornfields. Like, people think in New York, you don't realize it's 80% fucking corn, okay? It's just corn. So, I'm sitting in my car because I have a crap back, and the heated seat helps it a lot. And I'm one of those people who really loves to watch all those videos about if you hear something, leave it alone. Like, here's all the creepy monsters that live in these parts of the country. Like, I'm a big sucker for that shit. So, I'm parked in my, like, driveway area. My house is over here to the right. And to the left, about 300 yards away. No, that's a football field. 100 yards away is my barn. And my barn is huge. It's like 3 stories, and it was probably built in the early 1900s, maybe late 1800s. It's very old. And I can clearly hear shit in the barn. Okay? Like, it sounds pretty big. Something's knocking around in there. And we don't get bears. We don't have, like, like wildcats, mountain. We don't have any of that shit. Sometimes coyotes, but they're loud as hell and they move in packs and they don't come this close to the house. There's something in the fucking barn. And that's fine. It can fucking stay in the barn. I'm not going to check it out. I'm not going to see what's going on in the barn. Phoenix Becky would go investigate the barn. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sit here in my car, and I'm going to heat my back, and I'm going to keep my eyes trained on my phone, and then when I go in, I'm going to quickly make my way from car to front door. And that's it. I'm not going to go investigate the barn. Don't look at the trees. I love that girl. Don't go fucking check out weird noises in the barn. It's none of my business. what's going on in there. It can say over there. I'm fine. I'm not gonna do it.
Huh. You don't have to go looking in the barn. You do not.
Nestled in the small town of Cooperstown sits one of the most haunted hotels in New York State, the Otis Saga. While guests can admire the grand atmosphere, a number of paranormal occurrences have taken place at this historic hotel. Guests have reportedly heard the hurried footsteps and laughter of children in the hallways on the third floor while no children are staying at the hotel. On the fifth floor, sightings of shadowy figures have been reported in the hallways. Some of these ghosts even appear to be wearing 20th century clothing, and some of them have even appeared in guest rooms.
Sounds about right. Next. Yep. Just yup.
I've always loved the quiet. I moved up to this little cabin in rural upstate New York about 5 years ago, away from the chaos of the city. The place is big, secluded, and the woods stretch out far beyond my property. The nearest neighbor is miles away, and the only sounds you can hear are the wind in the trees and the occasional bird chirping in the distance. It's peaceful, and that's how I like it. Fishing is my thing. I spend most of my time on a lake that sits just behind my house. It's the perfect place to escape everything. I don't mind being alone. Hell, I enjoy it. The cabin has a huge deck that looks out over the woods. I often sit out there with a cold in my hand, watching the sun dip behind the trees and listen to the nighttime sounds of the woods. It's always been peaceful, until recently. It started about 2 weeks ago. I was on the deck, like usual, just staring into the dark, when I heard something. A snap of a twig in the distance. I didn't think much of it. Deer, maybe, or a raccoon. The woods are full of life, and I've gotten used to the noises over the years. But as the days went by, the sounds became more frequent. At first, it was just that, twigs snapping or leaves rustling, things I thought were just animals. But then, one night, I heard something different. A scratching sound. It came from the side of the house, somewhere near the window of the spare bedroom. It was quiet, almost like it was trying to be sneaky. I stood up my chair, heart pounding a little faster than usual. I waited, but nothing came after that. Probably just a squirrel, I told myself. But I didn't feel right. I decided to go inside and lock up for the night. The next evening, I heard it again. The scratching. It wasn't just at the side of the house anymore. Now it was closer. It sounded like it was coming from right outside the spare bedroom window. I froze, listening carefully, my nerves starting to fray. I couldn't explain it, but something felt off. I went to the window, pulling the curtains back slightly to see what was outside. The moonlight illuminated the trees, casting long shadows across the yard. The wind was still, and everything seemed normal. No animal, no person. I shook my head, telling myself that I was just letting my imagination run wild. It was probably a branch brushing up against the window, or maybe the wind. I convinced myself it wasn't anything to worry about and went to bed. The next night, the scratching returned. It wasn't just scratching anymore, though. It sounded like light tapping, as if someone were tapping on the window, trying to get my attention. My heart skipped a beat, and I jumped out of bed. I grabbed a flashlight and crept through the dark hallway toward the spare bedroom. When I reached the window, I shone the flashlight outside. There was nothing there. No person, no animal, just the same empty woods. But I couldn't shake the feeling that I wasn't alone. I couldn't explain it, but something was wrong. The air around me felt thick, heavy. I went back to bed, but I couldn't sleep. Every little noise seemed louder, and every creak of the floorboard sounded like someone was moving around in the house. I stayed awake, listening, but eventually I fell asleep out of sheer exhaustion. The nights went on, and the sounds didn't stop. I'd hear them every night, always the same. A tap, a scratch, sometimes even a faint whisper that seemed to come from within the walls. I tried to ignore it, but it was getting harder. One night, I decided to confront whatever was causing it.
Mountain Ghost Demon something story time. Here we go. 2 years ago, I was camping at a local spot that's about a half an hour from our house. You have to go up this mountain road. And by mountain road, I mean that there's no exits, there's no houses, no buildings, no detour, nothing for like 6 or 7 miles, okay? It is a popular spot for New York City people to be swimming at during the summer, during the day when it's really nice out. And there is a popular falls along the way. It is a very dangerous road, very twisty and turns. You can only do like 20 miles per hour. You don't want to hit the guardrail because you don't want to go over the edge and die because people have before, okay? So I have a rescue dog. My dog started acting up. I'm like, I'm going to bring him down the mountain to the house. I'll go get him in the morning. I come back up and it starts pouring. Wind is so bad. Thunder and lightning storm so bad. The roads are horrible. I'm already freaked out because there's no other traffic on this road. There would be nobody walking down this road. I get up to about mile 4, so I still got 2 more miles till you're at the top. At least 2 or 3 more miles till you're at a building. And I see what looks like a woman in a hoodie, long hair, hood down, walking, and I'm like, oh my gosh. Am I going to have to drive back down the mountain to bring this person? Like, then my body kicked in. My body was like, don't look, keep going. But the human in me, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to pick up this strange woman. She saw it's 4 or 5 miles to go down the mountain in a desolate, dangerous road when there's freaking mountain lions and bears and all this other shit. All the hair on my body stood up. And you know what I did? I looked.
Huh?
My headlights are bright as shit, and I saw I saw the face. It looked up like this with a big ass, not human smile face. Black eyes, pouring rain, thunderstorm, walking into the great unknown of going down a mountain road via falls on ledges with no other traffic, and you're going to smile like this at me? You can only do like 20 on those turns when it is sunny and dry out. I hit the gas on my Explorer. Hydroponics.
Sorry, lady, it was me.
Drifted Fast and the Furious, doing like 70 once I passed her by like 4 feet. I don't even know.
I apologize.
My Explorer was like, go, go, go. I just felt like any minute the thing was going to pop in my car next to me. I kept looking in my rearview mirror. Is it still walking? Oh no, I can't see it in the rearview mirror. I can't see it in the rearview mirror. Then I had to compose myself to my family because we're camping 3 miles as the crow flies, or 4 miles through the woods. Then I found out that all these like people have gone off the ledge there, which I knew. Whatever I saw though was not human. It was not good either. It was not good. Demon.
Sorry, lady.
Story time. Here we go.
One more story for today.
So I'm taking another one of my late night walks, this time in Oneonta, New York, which is one of the many beautiful upstate New York towns with Victorian houses and hills and huge maple trees. And one of the things that makes Oneonta really not just another forgotten suburb is that this beautiful park called Wilbur Park, which I can't show you because it's so dark out, but I'm here now. And, you know, the houses are right up against this beautiful park where there's a great a stream, a big brook, Wilbur Creek, going through. And so I'm cutting through the park and it's kind of dark and I'm thinking, ooh, it's, you know, October 15th, it's a Halloween night. It's like prototypical autumn here with the orange leaves and the sun, tossing, tossed from branch to branch as the wind blows. But anyways, I was going to tell you this story. So I'm walking in the dark and I'm seeing, there's just a few lights on. You can just see faintly the grass of the green at the center of this park. And I'm thinking, this is spooky. And then I see just like this very light shadow running very quickly across the lawn, just almost a transparent shadow. I'm like, oh my God, what is that? And I'm thinking, that must be just my shadow somehow. And then I'm like, no, that's not my shadow. And it looks like a boy running with his dog. And I'm like, okay, boy running with his dog. And then suddenly I realize it's deer. And there's deer all over the green in the middle of the park in the night. So that's my ghost story. So I leave it to you. Were those sort of the upstate New York version of Selkies? Or sort of humans that turn into dogs that turn into deers? Or was that just some deer and my imagination? Ooh, kind of spooked myself there. Just as I was finishing that segment, a car drives up very slowly and it stops in the darkness not far from me, and a person gets out and they close the door and nothing happens. So I think, I better get walking. And I walk down a road that a car can't follow you on because there's gates. And I give them a good look like, I'm here, I see you. And then I walked as fast as I could without looking scared, which just goes to tell you I'm more scared of people than ghosts.
And on that note, thank you for watching. See you next time.